Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bill Levinson, managing partner with Levinson and Associates. And with me today, we have a very special training webinar. Now, before I even dive into who's who, I just want to say a couple of things. These webinars and trainings are built around you, our agent, and your feedback, okay? So, if you want to see something a little different, or you want us to focus on a certain product line or sales program or lead program, please feel free to let us know, good, bad, indifferent. We want to hear from you, okay? So we have that question box in usually the bottom right corner. It could be the top right corner, depending on your screen layout. But there's a little comment question box. You can type in questions as we go. Joe is going to do his best to get everything answered. And if he did not get a chance to answer your question, we will do so as soon as the webinar is over. Okay. Now, we heard from a lot of agents out there. Now, as you know, we just broke the 16,000 agent mark. So we literally have over 16,000 agents in almost every city in the country. Okay. So, some agents, work very, very hard and depend on their, weekly commissions, to make a mortgage payment or car payment, whatever the case is. We have some that are literally MDRTs clearing over $1 million of commissions a year. So, our goal at Levinson is to turn those agents, let's say if you're a greener agent that just started, to turn you into an MDRT type of agent with all of our technology and our tools and lead programs and everything that we offer. I like to call it the value add, okay? And fast forwarding, that's exactly why we're having this webinar today, okay? Because the outcome is we want all agents to be out there taking advantage of our lead programs, starting to make more sales, and ultimately changing your business for 2019 and into the future. So what we did, and we listened to a lot of agents out there, and they said, Bill, your webinars are great, but we want to hear from a real life agent that's out there just like me, kicking the tires, trying to make things happen, networking and hitting the phones nonstop. So, we decided to have this webinar today and focus on, yes, our live transfer lead program, which Joanna is going to dive into. She works with our exclusive lead vendor, and we have some great stuff to share. And then we have our featured guest speaker is Ian, one of our top agents all the way from California that's joining us. And, I'm also going to say that he's here not because we paid him to be here or, we gave him some free leads, or the answer to that is no, we haven't given him anything. Okay. He is here out of the goodness of his heart. He wants other agents to hear what he has to say, listen to his opinions and the way that he does things. And if you learn a few things and take away some great nuggets of information, as I like to call it, then that's a win-win. This is strictly his opinion and what works for him. He's been in the industry now for almost 20 years. In fact, I think it's 17 on the dot. And he's been doing this a long time. He works primarily out of his home office over the phone, and he has done unbelievable. In fact, he's getting one of our top agent awards this year, which we will present to him and his fiance at the Expo. So my hat goes off to him. He's also a friend too, even aside from the business, just a great, great guy. And, hopefully, I know most of you will be at the Expo. He will be there as well, flying in from California. So hopefully you'll get to shake his hand and say hello. But he really has some great, great stuff to talk about. So Ian, thank you for joining us. I'm going to make a formal introduction in just a second, but I want to also talk about one of the incentives that we have going on for today's training. Okay, so as you know, we launched the Bill Levinson Experience podcast. It's been officially, it started in January of this year. So we're going on month number 4, approaching month number 5. It's going great. We have Gary Vaynerchuk as a guest speaker, Jeff Levitetz Cleveland Clinic's Man of the Year, some real great influencers, some people that disrupt their industry. And I wanted everyone, once again, to listen, learn, and take away some nuggets. So that was the purpose of the podcast. Every month, we're going to have a featured speaker. In fact, Joe Ross, who's our keynote speaker at the Expo, will be on our podcast Friday. So you'll get to hear him speak about just life insurance selling in general. In my opinion, he's the best coach in the industry. So the first incentive, real quick, is, okay, what we would like you to do, if you can just leave us a comment or review on the podcast channel. If you're listening on your iPhone, it gives you a chance to rate either 4 stars or 5 stars, hopefully, and just say a couple words, a little review about the podcast. If you want to do that, take a screenshot or go to our Facebook page and just leave a comment on, how it is working with Levinson, or maybe a comment about the podcast if you found it useful and maybe it helped you stay on the right track as far as motivation, inspiration, whatever the case is. Take a screenshot, email it to me, and I will mail you a free book called The Napkin Advisor. It's one of the Wall Street Journal's #1 bestseller a few years back. It's 50 ways to present disability income concepts on the back of a napkin. Okay, it's a $20 retail price. I will mail this for free, no charge, okay, on us. Just simply leave a review or a comment on our Facebook page, take a screenshot, or on our podcast channel. I'm fine with either one. Just say a few words. I would really appreciate that. And I know other agents out there would appreciate it, especially the ones that don't know who we are. Maybe they just came on board with Levinson. So if you don't mind doing that, I would appreciate it. And I know everyone else will thank you as well. Okay, also, the second incentive, what we're going to do, and it's very easy, okay? And actually, you don't have to do anything. If you're the number 100th registrant on today's webinar, we're going to give you a $200 credit voucher for our exclusive lead program. So $200 worth of leads. We're going to announce the winner at the end of today's webinar. So what that means is stay tuned, pay attention. Okay, if your name's called, you are the winner. It's going to the 100th registrant. Okay, so let's dive right in here to the feature speaker. Now, first off, like I said earlier, Ian's been in the business a long time. He's actually my age, getting married this year, so very proud of him. We have a lot in common. I've known him for many, many years. In fact, we did a webinar, the first webinar, years and years ago, when Ian was part of a call center. And that's at the time he came on board with us 100%. Okay, and I think in the beginning it was about 50 to 60%. But we were so impressed with him, and we built a great relationship over the years. He's a top of the table producer. This is the second year where he's getting the Levinson Top Agent Award. Okay, we give these out to typically the top 10 agents in the country. So Ian fell into that. This will be the second year, and he will be presented at the Expo. So again, my hat goes off to Ian. And if you meet him there, I think you'll agree with me. Just a great all-around guy. He will be with his fiance, who's also great girl. So very, very proud of him. And I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time, Ian. So, what I wanted to do is take a few minutes, introduce Ian, which we just did. And, I want Ian's using this program, and he's been using it for a while now. And I think, I wanted him to speak about some tips and maybe some insight on how the program is working for him. If you're selling over the phone, even if you're not using this program, I just wanted him to give, some tips and tricks around selling over the phone and or using our live transfer lead program. Ian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. And Bill, thank you very much for the warm welcome. I really do appreciate that. So do you want me to start with the question?
Yeah. Let's just, yes, that would be great.
Sure.
And if we could just dive into, well, first off, let's say your day-to-day sales life. I mean, you're primarily selling from your home office over the phone. That's accurate,
Yeah.
would you say? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And he's been doing this for a while, so obviously he's got a great book of business, and he's very, very fortunate to be in this spot. But as we all know, you constantly have to make sure that you're climbing the wall and building that book and getting new clients in the door, which is why he's using this lead program and a few others that we have. So, Ian, what is your experience so far with the live transfers? And if you can give any,
Sure.
tips and tricks, like when you get the leads, and do you pick certain areas or states, or how does that work? Just let's start from
Sure.
ground zero.
So number one, I want to first tell everyone that Datalot are the best live transfer leads I've ever experienced. I do recommend, if possible, if you can be licensed in at least 6 or 7 states or more. It just helps with the call flow and we get more leads in a given day. So starting off with some tips and tricks, I would just you want to ask some questions when you first start off, and you also want to know how to pivot. So if you're talking to someone and they're telling you that they're looking for term insurance, you want to be familiar with at least a few companies. From my experience, I like to use Protective, AIG, or even American National, since they offer some living benefits for lifetime or for term. So bullet number one is be familiar on pivoting, whether it's for term or final expense. For final expense, some good options to be familiar with is Mutual of Omaha and Transamerica. Bullet two is you want to be a good listener. Let the person tell you, what's going on and what they're looking for, whether it's mortgage protection or they have another concern. Maybe they lost someone in their life recently. So just make sure that when they're talking that you're being a good listener. So those are some tips and tricks. And then I had, Bill, one other section I want to talk about was it's sort of like an outline script that I start off with. And I want to just go over briefly on what I do that's been working very well for my calls. So, the first thing when a call comes in, I want people to feel comfortable. I want to separate myself from everyone else they may have maybe spoke to maybe in the past. So what I normally do is I want to first tell them, who I am, how long I've been doing insurance for, and I want them to know from the get-go that I do represent, more than 30 companies. I want them to know that if they're shopping around, that I'm doing all the shopping for them. There's no need to call and talk to other agents. So after I go through the building rapport and acting as a comparison provider, I then want to find out what the need is. Why are they calling? And from my experience with Datalot, there's been some very good positive results. 3 of them that I get frequently is someone may have passed away recently and unexpectedly, whether it's a family member or a friend, and that made them think, well, I don't have any life insurance. Now is the time to look into it. Or they may have had an existing policy expire. So that's also a good reason why they're calling. They want to buy a new policy. So now here you are, and they're starting all over again. You're providing them with all the options. Or the third option that happens too is they applied elsewhere. I had a client last month. They applied with another third party. I can't remember which one it was, but the agency misquoted them with their health ailment. They quoted them a preferred with the ulcerative colitis, and they were supposed to be getting a standard. So I was able to obtain that deal by showing them, with my underwriting experience. I was able to find them a competitive carrier with a great price. So it's really helpful to know, again, the need of why they're looking for insurance. And just make sure that, when you're talking to them, that you make them feel comfortable. Let them know that at the end of the day, that you're very familiar with, with their health concerns.
Yeah, and that client that he was talking about, and I know this because we have several conversations, but the other agency, who we won't mention the name because we all know who they are, basically misled the client, knowing the health condition, knowing they're not going to get preferred best. Basically came in and said, hey, for $18 a month at preferred best, we can get $250,000 of death benefit, knowing that the client is never going to fall into a preferred best category. So of course they got knocked down, 4 ratings to standard 3 or 4 ratings. And, Ian came in and was honest and told them the truth like it is and won over the case. So, don't ever mislead. I think that's the worst thing. And with the internet these days, everybody can find out answers to almost everything. So it's always better to be upfront and honest, and say, hey, we can shoot for the better class, but 9 out of 10 times we're probably going to get this. And I think that's also a great time to rely on our marketing staff that can help you with underwriting questions, issues, and then use X-Ray. Okay, that's the automated tool that's in our website that's free. Okay, so take advantage of the tools, and I think that'll also help you with cases like that. Ian, if you could just explain to everyone, because I know we have a lot of agents that have never used these live transfers before. So well, first of all, I'm going to say this, and I know Ian touched on this, but the larger your reach is, okay, so let's say, for example, you're in South Florida. Okay, if you choose, hey, I only want to work in the Palm Beach and Dade and Broward counties, and I don't want to go outside, okay, your lead cost is going to drive up. It's going to be a lot more expensive than if you, let's say you're licensed in Florida and then you also have your non-resident license, maybe in Georgia or maybe Texas. So if you start saying, hey, I'm willing to work these 3 states and sell over the phone, your lead cost is going to go way down. You're going to get the same quality of leads, but the price is going to go down because your reach is broader. Okay, so keep that in the back of your mind. I think that's very, very important. And then Ian, let me also ask you this while it's on my mind. So if you, let's say a normal day for you, a Wednesday comes up and you're working the lead program, just explain to everyone. So basically, do you basically log in and say, hey, I'm going to work today, I can take these calls from 12 to 4, let's say, and then they just start coming in? Like, just explain to everyone what that feels like, how the system works.
Sure. So what's nice about Datalot is that you can, they work with your schedule. So for me, depending on if I have calls scheduled with other clients, I normally do a few hours a day consistently. To me, it's all about being consistent. So I actually do Datalot every month. I do a repeat order just because I like to have plenty of calls to supplement my business. So you turn on the calls. And as Bill mentioned, that it will help if you're licensed in multiple states. It will definitely bring down the price of the lead.
Okay. And then so if you, let's say you want to log in from 12 to 4, and then the calls start coming in, and then it's up to you to decide on that particular call, is this going to be, more of mortgage protection or final expense or a vanilla term policy. And then I know you also like to talk about living benefits, right? Like the new kind of life insurance that, pays while you're still alive, kind of, you like to use that angle, right?
Yeah, and exactly as Bill mentioned. So you can actually pick and choose if you want to do, term insurance calls or final expense. I actually have enjoyed just doing both. I do final expense and I do term insurance, and I've learned, the more the better, because everyone has a situation, and I'd rather have just more resources. So yeah, you can actually choose the type of calls that you want, and even better, you can pick your schedule. So let's just say, Thursday, you can't commit, then you just don't make any calls for Thursday. So, going through the platform, Joanna and their team have made it very simple, very easy to learn how to set it up. And when you join, they actually will talk with you, and they'll go through the whole platform with you and just show you like a quick session on how to do everything. So, but what's nice about Datalot compared to everyone else is that they're just very honest. They tell you up front, the lead cost, and they really provide really good value, especially when it comes to if you have to get a return. So I really like working with these people. They've really proven to to stand out from the competitors. So I just wanted to let you all know that, again, I love you guys.
Yeah, no. That's great to hear. And I'll tell you, Ian has worked with several different lead programs, some with us as a co-op program and some just from a third-party lead vendor. So by him saying that means a lot. And I also want to say, Ian, real quick, what would you say, like, so now you have, let's say, the prospect on the phone. First of all, as far as like the lead being warm, okay, versus like a cold lead, most of these people, they're ready to get a quote or hear more. Is that a fact? Is that pretty much the case? Okay.
Absolutely. For the most part, you're going to talk to people that they're live and ready to talk with you, and they want to get more information. And it's your job as the expert to know how to transition the phone call and build a rapport and ask them why are you calling and why is this insurance important to you. And when you can get the client to engage with you and talk, and they put their guard down, it's amazing what happens. They just start to become really comfortable for you. And one other tip I want to mention to everyone is that a couple of days ago I made a new sale with a lady, and she had diabetes and cancer from many years ago, and I wasn't sure exactly how to quote her, and I didn't want to have to close her later on at the higher rate. So one of the best techniques is on your smartphone, for example, you can call up Protective or one of the insurance companies, and you can get, with Protective Life, you can get an underwriter on the phone fairly quickly, and they can hear from the underwriter where they should be, where the risk assessment should be. So I did that a couple days ago, and I actually obtained a new sale. They were able to hear it again from the decision maker. So that's another thing that I would recommend. If you're not really sure on how to quote someone, feel free and call one of the insurance companies. It really helps out a lot when it comes to the pricing.
What do you call them on a three-way call with the client, or do you just gather the info and call them? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, you can call with the
validity.
With the client. The client can hear from, exactly. You can call on a three-way call, and from my experience, Protective is just really quick at getting someone on the phone, an underwriter, and they can tell you, precisely, what their recommendation is for the price.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And plus, you being a licensed agent with that carrier, that says a lot. Of course, they're going to go online and pull up Protective Life and see they're rated A+, and whatever carrier it is. So yeah, that's big. And then also, I think another good point is Ian always says this, like, he lets them talk and lets them open up, and if they want to start talking about their children or grandchildren, and who's going to be listed as the beneficiary and the contingent beneficiary, you almost become, like, obviously every call is different, but for the most case you almost become like a friend of theirs, and you're more of like a counselor versus a salesman or saleswoman, right? Is that pretty relevant, would you say? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Be personable. Try to be different from everyone else. Everyone else is probably just trying to rush them off the phone and give a quote. And you want to just, at the end of the day, show them that you're a human being, you're friendly, you understand their situation. If they tell you, for example, that they have, diabetes and their A1C is really good, tell them, wow, you're doing great. Like, make them feel good about their situation. Just make them feel comfortable. If you can get them to like you and they feel like you're not trying to just sell them a policy right away, it really gets the customer's guard down. They'll give you more time to go through everything. Definitely helps.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And then when you get this prospect on the phone, and you have to start obviously asking the right questions and figure out, is this a vanilla term sale, or are we looking more of estate planning or an IUL for retirement purposes, or maybe whole life? But I feel like you have to probe and ask the questions, let them talk, and that will kind of steer you down the right path. And am I right with that? Yeah.
Bill, and don't quote right away. I've learned just from trial and error. Go through the outline, build a rapport, ask them, why this is important, or, what made you start looking for life insurance, and just try not to just go into the quoting, in the first, maybe wait a few minutes or 5 minutes, see, because the more information you can get from the client, you can figure out from there then what's the most, appropriate type of policy. But it's always good to just take your time and just hear out the consumer and see what's on their mind. Why are they calling? Those type of things, those type of matters.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I've heard some horror stories, from these lead programs that, they put an offer out there online and they say, click here for your free book, that doesn't even have anything to do with insurance. And then you call them and say, oh no, I just clicked because I wanted my free book. These are warm leads of people interested in hearing more or a quote, quite frankly. So at that point, it's up to you. Let me switch gears a little bit. I know we didn't even go over this, but let's say the person says, you know what, Ian, this is great information. You sound like a great guy, but I'm not ready right now. Okay. Do you have some kind of like follow-up system where, so now they're not buying today, but maybe they'll buy next month? Or do you put them, into a follow-up reminder calendar, let's say, where you follow up every week or every month? Or, do you start sending out, your e-blast, let's say once a month? Or do you do anything to keep your name in front of them or have some kind of follow-up system?
Absolutely. It's a good question, actually. So number one, there's a nice feature with DataLot where you can put notes in the platform. So number one, I always want to put the notes of how the call turned out. And then number two, I actually try to get a commitment. It doesn't always work out, but a lot of times they'll say, Ian, this sounds really good. I want to talk to my spouse. And I ask them, well, when is a good day for me to call you back? And if it happens to be a few days later, I normally will send them a text message or an email the day before I call, just to show them, just to remind them. So yeah, definitely, if you don't sell people on the first call, that's normal. It's not gonna happen every time. So if someone sounds like they're interested, you definitely want to follow up and get a commitment, preferably within a week or quicker of when you can call them back and go over, the insurance. Maybe include their spouse if their spouse wants to be on the phone call too. Find out who the decision maker is as well.
Yeah,
too.
that's very smart. Yep, very, very smart. The decision maker is your go-to. So that's great. And then if it does work out great, you make the sale, don't forget to ask for those referrals. I think that's huge. Hey, you're very happy with my service. I've taken some time with you, and I hope you're comfortable. And by the way, do you know anyone else that might need life insurance or critical illness or disability, whatever it is? But that I think that's another big one that people just forget to do when you have another lead source right in front of you that's free.
And also, Bill, too, when you're sending out the follow-up email, if you have a website, always provide the website. If you don't have one, if you do have letter of recommendations or testimonials nowadays, people want to know that you're trustworthy. So I also just recommend that if you can provide that in your email, you can put some PDF attachments. That also just helps with your, with building trust.
Yeah, and your credibility. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And these days, I truly hope everybody on this phone call today, we have hundreds and hundreds of people on, and I hope most of you have a website that's up and running, and I hope you have a domain name that works for you. We have a free platform. It doesn't cost you a penny, with a built-in quote engine, and you can custom the About Us page. And then when you're speaking to these prospects and they go, hey, Bill, this all sounds great, but, I'm on my computer right now, and I just want to see, who you are and how long you've been doing this. Do you have a website? Absolutely, Sheila. Go to, BillLevinson.com and click here, and then you can have all of your testimonials and those reference letters and pictures, and, and they start to feel like, wow, this guy's just like me, and then another great point too, and I don't want to ramble, but when you're talking to that prospect, depending on where you are in that conversation, it's always great to start asking about, first of all, you make it very clear that the death benefit is 100% tax-free. I think that's a big one. They literally get a check handed to them for $500,000 if it's a $500,000 death benefit. But it's important to say, oh, Sheila, by the way, God forbid something does happen, who would you want to list as your primary beneficiary? And she might say, well, this policy's for my husband and I'm the primary beneficiary. Oh, 100%, Sheila? Yeah, 100%. Okay, and then God forbid if something happens to you and your husband at the same time, where would you want the death benefit to go? Oh, actually, it's funny you say that. I have 2 twin boys, 8 years old, so I'm going to want them to get the proceeds. Okay, well, let's list the 2 boys as the contingent beneficiary. Now, all of a sudden, it's starting to become a sale without them and you even realizing that it's turning into a sale, because they're almost committing themselves and they're seeing the funds go to their children or their grandchildren, and that makes people happy. It's an emotion. It's a heartstring, right? We know how that works. So ask the right questions, pivot. I always say you don't have to be an MDRT producer with a master's in finance from Wharton to be a successful insurance salesman or saleswoman. Okay, all you have to do is know the basic product questions, okay, know what an IUL is or term with living benefits, know where to go to run quotes on the fly, and have a good personality and be open and patient and let them speak, okay? I'll tell you right now, our top agents out of the 16,000, most do not have a CLU, CHFC, Masters in Business and Finance. So you all are capable, okay? This is not rocket science. It's knowing the basics and being consistent, like Ian said in the beginning. Okay, so without further ado, I want to move forward. But Ian, do you have anything else? Any stories? Anything else? Anything you want to end with? Pointers, tips? Anything you want to mention? I'll give you the stage.
I think for now, Bill, that's all I have. But if I come across anything else, I will definitely let everyone know. And thanks again, Bill. It's been great sharing this with everybody.
Listen, we appreciate it, because by you even taking a half hour out of your busy schedule means the world to us and our agents. So thank you for that. Okay. And in fact, we're going to also have this on the podcast. So we really appreciate it. What we're going to do now, and Ian, thanks again, right? Truly appreciate it. And if you see Ian at the expo, shake his hand, thank him for his time. That would be great. What we're going to do now is jump into the actual live transfer lead program data lot. We have Joanna that's joining us, and she's going to dive into the platform and gives you some tips and insight on how to start to use the program. I'm also going to tell everyone on the call, as being a Levinson agent, okay, versus finding data lot off the street, you get a $200 credit as soon as you sign up. $200 in free leads as soon as you sign up. Plus, we're giving another $200 in free leads to the number 100th registrant on today's webinar. We'll announce it in about 15 to 20 minutes here. Okay, without further ado, Joanna, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Ian, for sharing those best practices. I think he was spot on with everything that he said. He's been having tremendous success with the program because he's implemented those best practices, and really appreciate him sharing that information with the rest of the participants today on how to maximize your return with these exclusive call transfers. So what I want to do is just explain to you a little bit more about how we generate the calls that you'll receive, and go into a little bit more about who we are, how the whole process works, the transfer process, talk to you about how we work the pricing and filters, and show you some screenshots of the dashboard that Ian spoke about, where you can actually manage this whole program. So you can set this to your schedule. And then at the end, I'll provide our contact information and how you get in touch with us to go through a demo and learn more. So if you move on to the next slide, for those of you that aren't familiar with DataLot, we've actually been around since 2009. We have over 100 full-time employees at the company. We're located, our headquarters is in Brooklyn, New York. I'm in our Denver, Colorado office, and that's where our sales and service staff is that help manage your account. And then we also have a call center in Boca Raton, Florida. And that's the call center that's answering the calls and talking to the consumers that you'll receive in the program. And we only work in the insurance industry, generating calls for auto, home, life, and health. If you move to the next slide. So how we generate the calls that we're sending to you. So we're doing all the marketing for you. We have a team in our New York office that's placing those ads on Google. So really trying to capture those consumers that are online shopping for life insurance. And most people today, if they're conducting a Google search, many of them are on their smartphone conducting that Google search. So we optimize all of our landing pages for mobile, because a lot of people who are on mobile may prefer to do a mobile click-to-call. I'm sure you've all used that feature on your phone to connect directly with the business, and that's what a lot of these consumers are doing. They're conducting that mobile click-to-call. And you can see over 40 million calls are driven by mobile ads each month. That's a tremendous number that just continues to grow year after year. So we want to get you in touch with those consumers. So an important thing just to point out with the insurance space in particular is that of these mobile insurance shoppers, and people online in general, they do find it important to be able to call and talk to an insurance company, especially with life insurance, right? They need that advisor. They need to talk to somebody and not just complete the transaction over the web. So they do want to talk to somebody, and that's where we come in to connect you with those consumers. If you move to the next slide. The next one just gives you a nice illustration of the whole process. So when you work with DataLot, you'll call in and talk to one of our account specialists who will talk to you about the types of calls that you want. So as Ian mentioned, you can segment into term or final expense, or you can take both. And, we recommend that to give you the most opportunity. But if you specialize in one or the other, you'll set that criteria. You'll also tell them what areas you're willing to accept calls from. And again, the wider that you can cast the net, so if you can take an entire state or multiple states, it's going to give you more opportunity coming your way. And so they'll help you set all that criteria. And then we will be out there generating those inbound consumer inquiries. So the consumer will either conduct a mobile click-to-call, or if they're on their desktop, they will come to our landing page and actually fill out a form with information. In both cases, that consumer is directed to our call center where we'll verify the type of insurance that they're looking for, and then we'll ask them additional questions to screen and qualify that consumer. If that consumer meets your filtering criteria and you're on and available to take that call, we'll call you first and conduct a warm transfer. And you'll always know that it's DataLot calling. We have a designated 888 number, so you can identify that it's DataLot calling. And so, for example, if I was the call center representative for DataLot, I would say, hi, this is Joanna from DataLot. I have Bob Smith on the phone. He's looking for life insurance in Florida. Can I transfer him? Once you say yes, then we'll connect you with that consumer. So there's always that warm introduction just to make sure it's a smooth transition for the consumer. If you move to the next slide, one of the other important things in the call program, that we do is, and again, I just can't stress enough, is that, these are consumers are opting in, they're coming to us. We don't cold call or try to call out to the consumers to get them interested in life insurance. They're calling into us because they have a need and they're interested. So these are all inbound consumer inquiries. And as you know, with many of you that have maybe worked traditional leads, internet leads, for example, one of the biggest challenges is just getting that consumer on the phone. And that's what we do for you. We're eliminating that whole step where you're making all of the outbound calls to try to reach that consumer, or maybe when you reach them to find that they're not interested or they've already purchased. We're putting you in contact with that consumer who said, yes, I do want to speak to a licensed agent. And at the end of our script, we verify that they have 5 to 10 minutes to speak to an agent before we transfer to you. So these are people that are definitely interested in talking to you and getting a quote. And the other benefit, the final benefit that I really want to highlight is that these are exclusive. So these are not shared. Once we transfer the call to you, you're the only agent that will receive that call. So that's a huge benefit, again, with these exclusive transfers, is that you're not competing against several agents all at one time. And if you move to the next slide, one of the most important things with the call program is being able to manage the flow of calls that come in. So again, we want to make this as easy as possible for you and flexible with your schedule. So you'll all, when you sign up with Datalot, you'll have access to datalot.com. It's a web-based app that you can just log into with your unique login and password. And you'll have access. This is just a screenshot of what the homepage looks like. When you log in, you'll see that if your account is on and active, for example, it'll show you the number of billable calls that you've received for the day. And then below that, it'll show you all the recent live calls that you've received. And if you notice in the example at the bottom, George Edwards, if you expand, you can actually see all the information for that consumer. So again, that's another important feature. If you have the dashboard open when we transfer you that consumer, we recommend that you do, so that you'll have all that consumer's information in front of you that we've already gathered. So again, it'll just make for a smoother transition for the consumer so that you don't have to re-ask all the questions that we've asked them in the call center. So you'll have the information, and then you can ask any additional questions that you need. The next screenshot just shows you, again, the scheduling feature. So again, Ian mentioned you can set your schedule, you can day part, and then you can set caps within the schedule. So for example, if you only want to receive, if you wanted to receive, 5 calls within a time block, you can set that cap and work with your schedule. We do recommend that you keep your schedule as open as possible. If you want to get as many calls as possible, 15 hours plus a week is what we recommend. Just so you know, we do, our call center is accepting calls until 9 p.m. the local time. So if you're working later in the evening, that's a great time to also take calls. And we do also generate calls on the weekends as well, Saturday and Sunday. So again, another great time to take calls because a lot of other agents have shut off, and you can see more opportunities come your way. And then the other thing is just the destination phone number, which you'll see highlighted in number 3. You can tell us where to route the calls to. So if you move ahead to the next one, we do have a mobile app as well, so you can manage this from your phone. So if you forget to shut it off from the office, you can actually shut everything off from your phone, or manage your schedule if you need to. And if you move to the next one. So again, with Datalot, just want to point out again some of the features that I've mentioned, that they're exclusive, consumer initiated, that you get the warm handoff, the call qualification, our call center in Boca and the other locations we have are all here in the U.S. Again, which is really important, I think, just for additional, making sure that you have proper screening, and it's just a better experience all around for the agent and the consumer. And the fact that we also record the calls on the dashboard, which is a great, I don't think Ian talked about this, but great training tool. If you have other staff members that are taking the calls, you can go back and listen to the call recordings to help your staff improve. So you can do call calibrations, listen to how they interacted with the consumer, so that you can give them pointers on how they can improve moving forward. And the filters that we have, you can also customize those. Do want to point out with Datalot that we also give you a dedicated account manager. So once your account is set up, you'll move on to one of our onboarders. And the onboarder is there to train you and your entire staff on how to use the app and how to maximize everything that is available to you within the platform. And they're there to kind of help give you some best practices as well. So you'll be working with them, and it's always a dedicated rep, so that we make sure that you have someone that knows your account inside and out and is available to help you. And then for any of you that do use any kind of carrier integrations, just check with us if we integrate with that CRM that you're using. We can look into that for you and see if that integration exists. We don't charge anything to set it up, as long as it's a partnership that we already have. So if you move to the next one, just kind of going over how the program itself works and filters, term life and final expense, depending on your area and the call types that you're taking, typically I would say probably you're going to be, at that $35 price point or higher. If you're taking a smaller area, the price point could be a little bit higher. But when you call in and talk to our representative, they can tell you the pricing that they would recommend in your area based on what they're seeing other agents that are paying in that area. And then you can see below that, you can, as I mentioned, you can filter for term or final expense, age filters, You can select healthy only with term. So they can go over all those filter options with you. And again, you can set up different campaigns, or, if you want to have them, only a certain type of call, you can do that, or you can cast your net even wider and open it up to both types of insurance. And then as Ian said, it's really up to the agent and up to you to educate that consumer on all the different products that are available to them and what would best suit their needs, because they're really looking to you to be their trusted advisor and help guide them into the right product for them. And then you can see on the left, basically with DataLot, we have no contracts. There's no setup fees. When you sign up with DataLot, we have some special promotions specific to Levinson. They're above and beyond our standard promotions. So definitely you always want to make sure to mention that you're working with Levinson so you can take advantage of these special offers that we have. But we ask you to get started with a $500 deposit. Again, it is refundable at any time, minus any calls that you've taken. We don't have any contracts. But once you make your deposit, you will receive a $200 DataLot bonus. If you decide you want to deposit a little bit more to get started, then you would receive a $300 deposit. And then as you receive the calls from DataLot, it just draws down on the amount of your deposit with each call that's received. And if you move forward to the next one.
Yep, so that's actually the last slide I have.
Sorry. Yeah, we wanted to, if you can provide them just our, you can call in to DataLot for, to set up a demo and to get some additional information, and just make sure when you do call in that you provide, just mention that you are with Levinson. So, we look forward to working with all of you. And again, the demo is free. We'll set you up with a login and password to the app. They'll kind of walk you through all of that. And they can talk to you a little bit more about your particular area and answer any additional questions that you have. So yeah, we're really excited with this. We love this partnership, and we're excited to talk with all of you on the webinar today. And we look forward to helping you grow your business.
Awesome. That was great. Spot on, Joanna. Thank you so much. All right. So what we're going to do, we're running a little behind on time. Joe is going to dive into our lead program resources. We have sales scripts. We have some great sales information that will help you in working the phones and selling over the phone. So Joe's going to show you what we have available on our website and what will be included in our thank you email. As soon as he's done, I'm going to announce the winner, and then we'll wrap up today's call. Joe, you there?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. So the first thing I want to point out, of course, everyone will receive a email this afternoon with all the information that we covered and the actual link to go ahead and enroll in this special discount program through the Levinson DataLot relationship. So look out for that email this afternoon. One great website we put together is called levinsonleadprogram.com. This is actually a website that host every single one of our different lead programs. So whether you're looking at a direct mail program or annuity leads, or you want to get started with some of our orphan policyholder leads, you can go to this web page. Again, we'll send that link out this afternoon in that thank you email. That will give you the ability to check out every single one of these platforms, even access some additional training so you can really get started and kind of learn more about all those different options. In addition, on this slide here, there's a screenshot of carrielevinson.com. You'll see underneath Agent Tools, we have a separate section that says Lead Programs. You can access every single one of the platforms in addition to the direct mail programs, annuity lead programs, to really kind of help learn more and kind of find out what's available as a Levinson agent. So some great resources there. I do want to quickly go into some of those other programs. On this slide here, which of course we'll send out, on the far left, we've got our orphan lead program. These are actually policyholders that are already in force, and the agent is either deceased or no longer active in the business, and we actually receive these from a couple different carriers. So these are available for Levinson agents. The best part is you can bring up conversions, you can bring up maybe switching over to a product with living benefits. They are 100% exclusive, and once you write $10,000 of paid premium as a Levinson agent, you're eligible for that orphan lead program. In the middle, we have our co-op final expense mailer. This is $430 per thousand. The best part is you can pick the ages, the gender, income level, zip code. There's a 4-day turnaround from order to mail. They are exclusive, never reused. And it's not just basic final expense. It's actually using our legacy safeguard program, which is a completely turnkey platform for Levinson agents to kind of help you sell final expense. It even gives clients some extra added benefits, such as negotiating the price of the funeral costs, bereavement travel assistance, all sorts of benefits to really set yourself apart from other agents that are selling that final expense product. And then on the right-hand side here, we have our co-op annuity lead program. This is $460 per thousand. Josh Hoffman in our office heads up our Levinson annuity division. He can speak to you as to the success of this program, but there is an average 2.5% response by using this direct mail program specifically for annuity leads. So a great program to use if you're looking for those different annuity leads. Again, Josh Hoffman can help you out with some more information on that platform. We also have some awesome lead resources, such as frequently asked questions. If you're looking to sell term insurance, especially mortgage term, we've got some great client objections and how to handle those. We have a great script here for term and final expense. And then we also have the ultimate cross-selling close. And this is great if you're selling maybe disability or somebody already purchased a term policy and you want to sell either a critical illness policy or an accidental death policy. It's a great way to kind of learn some tips and ideas on how to cross-sell those different products. And finally here, one last thing I want to mention is, we mentioned some living benefit products, some other carriers being able to reach out to the underwriters. One thing we've added on our website underneath the product tab is a section dedicated to top term solutions and non-med options. These days we're seeing carriers go as high as, $3 million of coverage with no fluids, no paramed exam issued in 3 days or less. All those resources are available on the Levinson website. You can actually pick each carrier, see the issue ages, whether there's an e-application, especially if you're going to be doing that sale over the phone. You want to have that quick, easy option available for the client. And now that we can go up to $3 million of coverage on a streamlined underwriting process, it really kind of changes the game and really makes that process that much easier for the client. So I'll also include the link to this specific page so you can access all that material. The next time you're running a quote or have a marketing question, you can access all that material in real time.
Okay, good stuff, Joe. We are just about done, okay? Now, we have literally hundreds of people on today, and I hope everyone is attending our expo, okay? We listed the top 10 reasons to attend our May 10th Levinson Annual Agent Expo on the right side. We're going to include this in today's thank you email. And I'm just going to go over a couple of these real quick. It's a chance to network with over 300 agents from almost every city or state in the country, okay? You will also get to meet Ian, who was our guest speaker today. Again, we take care of all your meals. There's no charge to you. The only thing you're responsible for is getting to the expo on May 10th, okay? A chance to meet and greet all of our top VPs and underwriters from our core carriers, some great giveaways, raffles. If you bring a guest agent with you, you're also enrolled in a separate incentive that we're throwing. Joe Ross is our keynote life insurance sales trainer. The guy is amazing, okay? I promise you, Joe Ross is the man when it comes to selling insurance in 2019 and in the future. He changes the game, and I promise you, if you don't agree with me, see me after he's done talking and say that to me, because it's not going to happen. There is no freaking way. We're also uncovering the new IUL sales platform. We have a new UI, a new user interface, so it's a lot easier to use now. When selling indexed UL, this is a slam dunk. We now have 5 carriers that already approved the new IUL sales platform. So we're going to roll that out. And of course, we are officially rolling out the Sell While You Sleep platform with 3 carriers, over 10 products, all direct to consumer, where you get full commissions in renewal. So that's going to be huge, I promise you. And I really hope to see you at this year's expo. You have 2.5 weeks left. Register today. Okay, the next slide is our Bill Levinson experience. That's Gary Vaynerchuk, also known as Gary V. He is the social media marketing guru, known for, in fact, he created 2 of the Super Bowl commercials this year. He is the man. I sit down for a 45-minute interview with Gary to talk all about marketing in today's world. Check out the Bill Levinson experience. What we're doing, okay, if you leave me a review on the podcast channel on your iPhone, or just go to our Facebook page. You can just say, hey, I listened to the Bill Levinson Experience. I thought it was great. I thought it was bad. I thought it was whatever. I don't care, okay? I hope you leave something nice, but take a picture, take a screenshot, email it to me. I'll send you a free book. I have either Power Selling Insurance, okay, which is a great 101 life insurance selling book, or I have the 50 DI sales strategy. So it's called Napkin Advisor. I'll send you either one. Just take a screenshot, leave me something nice, and you're in. That simple. Okay, moving forward here, agent training events. Now, this is just to give everyone a high-level overview training on any of our technology or tools. We literally host these every day with Kevin, who's our programmer. Every Monday, we have the AssureWorks platform, okay, and that's basically used for search engine optimization or driving traffic towards your website, okay? Every Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday is the free website builder. Remember, we were talking about how important it is these days to have a website, okay, especially selling over the phone. People want to know who they're dealing with, who they're sharing this personal information with. You got to have a website, folks. It's that simple. It's free with Levinson. Check out the website builder every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Every Wednesday is our CRM platform. Thursday is prospecting and agent recruiting. We literally have a database of millions of clients that you can tap into and start marketing to. And then on the agent side, if you're looking at recruiting and building your downline, we have an agent database. We have hundreds of thousands of licensed agents across the country that you can tap into. This is all co-op pricing. It's a co-op platform. Take advantage. Friday is best practices. And that's a chance for you to get comfortable with just email marketing, driving traffic to your website, using the quoting engine, just the high-level overview of your day-to-day marketing practice, okay? Every Friday, 2 p.m. Okay, now, on April 25th, we are having the top hybrid linked benefit products training. So try to be on that webinar. That's like the new long-term care combined with life insurance. These days, the standalone LTC products are pretty much gone. We have a handful left, but the new hot button is hybrid linked benefit plans. So we picked the top product on that day. We're going to dive in 2 p.m. Eastern. Okay, we're going to end with this. First of all, everybody wins, okay, because yes, you get our free sales books. If you leave a comment, take a screenshot or picture, email it to me, I send you your free book. And, okay, number 100th registrant was Mr. Muthu. Mr. Muthu, M-U-T-H-U, you are the winner, $200 in free live transfer leads, okay? Shoot me an email or I'll send you one and we'll get you started. We're going to end with our Positive Tuesday quote. That's the infamous Tiger Woods. Oh, just won the Masters. What a great story. And, you know, the reasoning behind this post is I don't care what you've been through, what you're going through, where you came from in life. There is no excuse, ladies and gentlemen, okay? We can all go out and make it happen. I don't care who you are. It doesn't make a difference. And here's proof. Keep your head down, eye on the ball, and grind like the whole world is watching. With that said, go out, try something new, okay? You've learned about leads today, CRM, selling over the phone. Go out, make it happen. Put your right foot forward, and we can all do exactly what Tiger did on Sunday. Have a great rest of the week, a good weekend, and great selling. Take care.